Morgan J, also known as Kitty Clash. Today is the second day of swimming, year 26, and I am very excited to give more thoughts on the Void Within plot. First of all, Neopets has an official trailer for this out now on their YouTube page. And one thing I noticed when I was looking at about, I think it was like 017, I have a screenshot of it paused at like 019, but there is, to the left of Myrtle Castle, there's this, how do I describe it? It was like a castle-y type building with like kind of a dome on the top of it. I think it was like yellow before. And I was like really confused by that because it didn't look like any of the lands that I recognized. And so I asked in the comment section with a timestamp, like, what is the yellow castle on the left-hand side of Myrtle Castle supposed to represent? And I did my best to blur people's like usernames and stuff because like, I don't know, I just really, I want to protect people's privacy. And someone told me, bizarrely, it's a Neopia Central Mall from Tales of Neopia unreleased MMO concept arts. I don't know if this is true or not, but that is what I've heard. So yeah, I was wondering, like, is this a hint at a new land or something? But apparently it might just be old concept art. But again, like, I am just trusting the statement of some person on the internet, so I have not really verified that. Yeah, I'm really excited that there's like a trailer now on YouTube. I'm just very excited about that. Oh, and when I went to go and spin the wheel of excitement today, this very, very, very briefly popped up. I managed to get a screenshot, but like this was barely on screen for very long at all. And it is of someone called Tavi saying, "Thought I might find you here." And Tavi, actually, does Tavi have eyelashes? Okay, so on Neopets, if your pet is female, it has eyelashes, but if it's male, it doesn't have eyelashes. The way you can tell gender identity on Neopets is, does the pet have eyelashes? And I don't think Tavi has eyelashes, so Tavi might be male. But yeah, Tavi has like a red mane. So Tavi, I think, is a red Curie with a gray beanie, a yellow vest. It doesn't look like it has sleeves, and wearing a backpack. And the background behind Tavi is like these trees, it's like a mixture of different types of trees, and there's Fairy City in the background. And it's, you know, the crashed Fairy City that happened after the plot with Exandra. Once again, free Exandra. I'm very pro Exandra. Anyways, there is the Fairy City in the background, and there's some novas like flying in front of it. So I'm really interested to see, like, what does this signify? What does this signify? Okay. And sorry, let me minimize these. So next of all, I want to go ahead and, you know, check out the updates to the plot, because it is now, like, sorry, July would be the month of swimming, and so there seems to be like more information now. Oh my gosh. I don't have like ad block on, so I am getting ads on the side. I apologize for that. Because it's like I don't pay for a premium right now, and like I know that Neopets needs money to stay afloat, so I get that, like, yeah, I've got to deal with ads, but it is a little bit annoying. Perhaps you should check in on Baelia. A quick trip to Fairyland to visit the Grey Fairy might help clear things up. Oh, we have Fior there. We have Dr. Landelbrat, or whatever his name is. Okay, we go to Fairyland. Okay, now Tavi's dialogue is actually supposed to show up. So Tavi says that I might find you here. Oh, that's Baelia! Oh my gosh, I love Baelia! I just love... Okay, normally I dislike fairies, but I like Baelia. Baelia's nice. I love Baelia because Baelia is like... She had powers apparently in the past. I don't know what her powers supposedly were before, but somehow she ended up losing her powers, and so she doesn't have magic, and she can't fly, and so she can't really do other fairy things, and so anytime she offers fairy quests, like other fairies have to give your pet the reward. So you can sometimes get like a light fairy reward, sometimes you'll get a fountain fairy reward from Baelia. Like, it's not always clear what it will be. Um, so Baelia is very fun in the fairy quests, but also like lore wise, she's just such a, I like her as a character because it's like, I guess I describe her as like in a very subtle way, she's disability representation, but I think she's disability representation done well, where it doesn't feel like it's virtue signaling or pandering or whatever. It feels like she's authentic, like in the world that she exists in. As a fairy, not having magic is a disability. So I also love how it fits really well lore wise, and it's not like a direct one-to-one parallel with the real world. So I feel like it's a character that a lot of people with invisible disabilities can relate to. So I mean, as someone on the autism spectrum, I really like Baelia as a character. So Balia's like, oh, I'm sorry, Tavi. And then Tavi's like, no need to be sorry. Trouble sleeping again? And Baelia is like, I never feel more awake than when my head hits the pillow. As soon as I close my eyes, my brain decides to worry about everything in existence. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. That sucks. I feel like, oh gosh, I feel like that's something that unfortunately a lot of people can like relate to in real life. Like that sucks when that happens. And Tavi's like, well, you've been that way since I've known you. Did you have bad dreams before? I'm wondering what before is in reference to. I mean, I know that she lost her powers at some point, but I don't know if it's ever really been explained. And Bally is like, well, oh, is that Naya? Is Naya the fountain fairy? I think Marina is the healing springs one, so I think Naya is the fountain fairy. And I was like, Baelia, Tavi, so sorry to intrude so late, but this couldn't wait until morning. And she's the one who, she can paint your pet a bunch of different colors, but you have to do a quest for her, and sometimes those are super expensive, and it's kind of like random whether or not you'll actually get a quest from her or not. And Baelia is like, Naya, what's the matter? I love the way that Baelia is drawn there. Like, she just looks so, I don't know. She looks like a little bit concerned, but she also looks dead inside. Like the way her eyes look, something about them just makes it look like she's not quite there. Like she's focusing on something. I don't know how to describe it. It's like her focus is clearly not on Naya. Like she's not even looking at her. She's very clearly looking away. So I'm like, I don't know. It feels almost like she's not quite there somehow. Like she's not even looking in her general direction. She's just looking off in space at something. Naya's like, I'm not entirely sure, but it's very strange, unnatural even. They won't change colors anymore. Oh, does that mean at her fountain? Tavi, whoa, it's okay, Naya. Just take a deep breath. And Naya's like, you're right. Apologies. This whole situation really has me all wound up. And Balia's like, what's going on, Naya? So just FYI, a lot of these names are ones that it's like I never hear like actually said out loud. So I'm just guesstimating the pronunciation some of the time. Naya's like, you may have heard, but recently, Neopets across the globe have been painted gray while they slept. And now Owl of Murda lost color in the dead of night while a rift opened up in the sky. And Bali is like, gray? And she's gray. Tavi, lost color? Naya, yes, which is strange in and of itself, but the most mystifying part is this gray color. I can't change it. And she's supposed to have a bunch of magic in her fountain, but it's not it's running out. Maybe she just doesn't have enough magic. Baelia, even with the rainbow fountain. Okay, this time she at least looks like she's looking in her general direction. Naya's like, not a bit. No matter how many times we try, the rainbow fountain can't seem to wash off that gray color. Tavi, how is that possible? Naya, it shouldn't be! I've never seen a color that couldn't be changed by the rainbow fountain. It can return color to anyone. Well, except for obviously Baelia. She's going to say Baelia. Well, except for Baelia, a gray fairy. Naya, yes, well, I'm sorry, Baelia. I know this is an uncomfortable subject for you. It's just, I had no idea where else to turn. Baelia, what use would I be? I wouldn't even know where to start. And Naya's like, a council of Neopian leaders has already been called together, and they have Dr. Lendelbrot investigating the rift in the sky. I'm still saying maybe you should ask Xandra, or I don't know, Dr. Sloth. Dr. Sloth might know too. However, when I asked about how to rid us of the stubborn gray, Fiora herself suggested turning to you. And Baelia is like, Fiora? I hate to let her down, and I really do wish I could help you, but I can't even help myself. We've been trying for years now, but here I am, still gray. Tabby says, supposedly, only a new name can lift the curse that Genumara placed on her long ago, but no matter how many names I try calling her. Genumara? I am not entirely sure what character that is. Like, I'm not sure if that's an old existing character or if it's a new one. Maybe it's mentioned in like some item description or collectible card, maybe? So supposedly only a new name. So we need to give Baelia a new name. Can lift the curse that Genumara, so some aforementioned character that I don't know, placed on her long ago. So we don't know how long ago that was. But no matter how many names I try calling her. And the thing is, with long ago, you never know how long that's referring to in Neopia, because even though Neopia technically has only been around since 1999, like, Altador, the whole Altador plot, if I remember right, Altador was frozen in time for like 1,000 years or something, and NeoQuest supposedly takes place 1,000 years in the past. So Neopia could theoretically be taking place sometime a long time ago, but it could also just be a few years ago. It's really hard to guesstimate how long long ago would be in this instance. And Baelia's like, still gray? And Tabby's like, well, maybe this mystery is just what we need. If we can find a way to recolor the Neopians who turned gray, it might help you too. And Baelia's like, nothing else has been working. And Tabby's like, come on, Baelia, let's at least try to help. And Baelia's like, I suppose we couldn't make things worse. Right to try? Like, why not? Right to try. The worst is it makes things worse. And so, yeah. Naya says, really? That would be wonderful. Something tells me you two are the right ones for the job. And Tavi's like, I'll start packing. If we leave now, we can be passing through Brightvale in a few days. And Bally's like, sounds like an awful lot of walking to me. Well, yeah, I mean, the Curie is probably used to walking, but Baelia is a fairy, so I don't really know, like, theoretically, how often do fairies walk around? Like, what is their endurance? Or would that actually be based on endurance or agility? So the thing is on Neopets is agility is kind of, like, considered a useless stat most of the time, because agility isn't really super important in the battledom. So agility is kind of a useless stat. So a lot of, like, but here's the thing, it's like, how much walking are pets actually supposedly doing in lore? And how much walking do fairies do in lore? And would a fairy supposedly, like, be worn out quicker or slower than a Curie? Like, I don't know. I mean, typically fairies fly everywhere, but Baelia can't fly, so she has to walk. But I'm also like, how much would walking wear them out? Because, I don't think of Fairyland as being too far from Brightvale, right? Or is it a certain amount of miles? Because I think there's some distance between a couple of the lands are listed in, like, miles on the Explore page, or used to be, but I can't remember anymore. And Tavi's like, come on, it'll be fun. You'll see, we'll be in Myrtle in no time. But also, like, on the Explore, here's the thing, if you're exploring Neopets, you just use the Explore page. So I don't think of my pets as having to canonically walk. I just assume that they teleport or something. And Bally's like, well, you have been trying to get me to hike with you for years. Silver lining, or, like, a good thing coming out of a bad thing. And Tavi's like, that's right, and you can't flake on this one. Queen Fiora's orders. And Baelia is like, okay, I guess I could stand to get out of the house. And Tavi's like, that's the right attitude. Come on, let's get packing. And so that seems to be the new update. I'm going to go back to the Void Within plot page to see, is there, like, any new dialogue? I guess I'll go try checking out Brightvale. Scroll down to Brightville. Okay, I'm not really getting any new thing other than like this. Wait, did it not count me clicking correctly? Okay. Sorry, sometimes my internet's being like really laggy lately, and I don't know if it's an issue with Neopets or with my internet. So I'm not getting anything else popping up when I go to like Myrtle or to Brightville really. So I'm gonna go back to the Void Within plot page. See if there's anything like new on the story. Wait, how many pages have I missed here? Was that okay? So day 5. Oh, so day 5 was the council assembles to discuss matters, and that's the guy from Croc Island. He was part of some plot to save. Or was it an event? It might have just been an event. McGill or something. He was part of some event to save Croc Island. I think that the Chambius Moltara, the Ixie in the background is from the I think the Return of Dr. Sloth. I don't know who the Yuri is. I know that the okay, that one's from Tyrania. That one's from the Tyranian Council of Elders. That Curie is from Tyrania. And then down here, I think I know at least 3 of them, and possibly all 4 of them, are from what's it called? Altador. The Altador plot. And I'm trying to click all these to make sure if there's some prize that I don't miss it. Because apparently, not only was I supposed to like visit the comics each day, I was supposed to like click on each individual pane or something. And so I think I missed out on something because I didn't do that. It was really annoying. And the bottom panel is Fiora and the Ogren from the Advent calendar, and Landelbrot and Jordana. And the previous day before that was leaders from across Neopia gather in Altador, which has some boats landing. And that's Amira, Nabal, and Jazan. And then those are defenders of Neopia. That I don't remember the 2 of their names, but I know one of them is Judge Hogg. And then that's Lord Daragon and the King of Rue Island, and then Fiora and Altador at the bottom. If I go back to chapter 1, A Riot of Color, page 3, the way that the pages are, it's kind of annoying because it's like they're not just releasing all the pages for a chapter at once. They're kind of like staggering them. So section 3 or page 3 was an urgent message to all the kings, queens, emperors, lords, governors, mayors, monarchs, protectors, and defenders of Neopia. King Altador and Queen Fiora are summoning delegates from every land and province to the Hall of Heroes in hopes of forming... The Hall of Heroes? Is that what the council chamber is called? I know the council chamber in Altador. Let me go check this. Is that what it's actually called? So I thought oh yeah, it actually is the Hall of Heroes. Okay. Okay, that actually is the Hall of Heroes. I'm used to just calling it the council chamber. Okay, to the Hall of Heroes, so that's in Altador, in hopes of forming an elite council to address the troubling gray that overtook Myrtle in conjunction with the enigmatic rift fracturing our Neopian sky. If you're able to attend, your presence is humbly but expeditiously requested. Okay. Oh, and page 2 was, okay, a Drake coming in to King Scarl's chamber to find him gray. And then he's like trying to be ungrayed, but he's not changing. And there are a bunch of other gray pets too. And it's, well, that's sad. And then chapter 1 was the residents of Myrtle being grayified. Okay. I want to go to, is it this? Okay, this is the one we saw. This is the one that had all that dialogue the other day. Which I kind of like reacted to in a previous video already. Chapter 7, sorry, page 7 of chapter 1. This is a little confusing. Is Baelia sitting on a rock in Fairyland with Fairy City in the distance and some novas flying by. And then page 8. Okay, so page 8 is just like a recap of the dialogue that I saw in Fairyland. Okay, so I guess that means that I'm more or less caught up. I still need to do the rest of my like daily little, is it like void collecting? My little purple collecting thing. But yeah, I am excited to see that the plot is updating, but I was so upset that I missed out on one of the achievements because I apparently didn't do everything within the first week. And I think what my issue was I didn't like click all the comic panes or something. It was really frustrating because it's just frustrating to miss out on an achievement or anything on Neopets, especially because in the past for certain events, there would be like bonus prizes that would be linked to completing things on the first day. And so like I'm still kind of like concerned, are they going to like lock me out of something important because I missed like one day of like clicking the right panels or something? Like, I don't know. So I'm worried about that because so much of the stuff on Neopets has historically been time sensitive. So I'm really worried about the fact that it's like, what if I miss something because I apparently didn't do one of the achievements like on the first week or something. Yeah. But yeah, I am happy that there are more updates on the Void Within plot. I do think that the way that the pages are laid out, like chapters versus pages, it's a little bit confusing because traditionally with plots, they would release the entire chapter in one go instead of releasing one page at a time. But yeah, I hope that y'all are enjoying the Void Within plot so far. I'm also like, I don't know how I feel about the Altador Cup like not being here yet, because I know that there are people who look forward to it. Like, I'm just not a huge Altador Cup fan anymore, but I understand that there are people who look forward to it. So I don't really know how I feel about that being not here yet. But yeah, I hope you are having a very happy month of swimming. Bye.